Hello everyone, this is Mr. Mweene from E-Learning Academy Zambia, under Tech Smart Zambia, be Tech Smart or Technology Smart, and always think before you click. Today is a special day for all of us, perhaps all of you, because we are going to look at a subtopic in a topic called trigonometry, and the subtopic is known as the cosine rule, whose specific outcomes will be this. So at the end of the lesson, we should be able to, or perhaps the learners should be able to, calculate the shortest distance and the length of a straight line on a triangle using the cosine rule. Number two, the learners should be able to calculate the area of a 9 right-angle triangle. So for a triangle like this one, I hope we master the way the sides are labeled. For example, the side AC is labeled B, the side BC is labeled A, the side AB is labeled C. So when you look at the way we label triangles, we use opposite sides and opposite angles. So for example, when you look at the angle A, the side that has been labeled using the letter A is the opposite side to this angle, and the opposite side is this side where there is A, small letter A. So we use small letters to label sides and capital letters to label angles. So the cosine rule is given by this formula here, A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. Okay, so in this case, we have used the letter A to write the formula for the cosine rule, but you can also use the other letters. You can also start with B. If you start with B, then the cosine rule will read B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine B. So you can see just by looking at the formula that we have, that you can actually write this formula using any of these sides that we have labeled here. Okay, so the area for that triangle, for the triangle that we have just shown, is found by using the formula given here. Area is equal to half BC sine A, where A is known as the included angle. By included angle, we simply mean that it's an angle that is found between the two sides, B and C in this case. So when you look at the way the triangle is, you look at the side labeled B and the side labeled C, the angle between them is the angle A. So the formula is written using the included angle. So half BC, half BC sine A. And it will prove to be very important in our study of the cosine rule. Our example says, East Park, Arcades at Manda Hill are shopping malls in Lusaka. East Park is 12 kilometers from Arcades and 20 kilometers from Manda Hill. Manda Hill is on a bearing of 108 degrees from East Park, and East Park is on a bearing of 060 degrees from Arcades. So here is the triangle that shows us what we are talking about. So the distance from A to E, or from Arcades to East Park, has been given as 12 kilometers, and the distance from East Park to Manda Hill has been given as 20 kilometers. So the first question in our example says calculate the size of the angle MEA. And the second question says calculate the distance from Arcades to Manda Hill. And the third question says calculate the area of triangle AME. And the last question says Olympia Park is a compound that is found between Arcades and Manda Hill. Calculate the shortest distance from East Park to Olympia Park. That is our last question. Let us look at the solutions. Okay, so we consider the triangle below. This triangle here is the same one that we gave in the question, and the only additions that we've done here are to help us to find the first question. Okay, so as you can see, the distance from Arcades, or maybe from A to E, is 12 kilometers, and the distance from E to M, or East Park to Manda Hill, is 20 kilometers. So the north line here where East Park is, the north line, this north line here has been extended into the triangle here to help us calculate the angle MEA. So as you can see, there's an angle that has been that has been colored red, and another one has been colored green. So these two are going to help us to find the angle. Okay, angle MEA is found by adding the red and the green angle. So we will find the two angles below. Angle MEA is found by adding the red and the green angle. So we'll have to find the two angles as we are going to show below. The red angle is equal to 60 degrees, and the reason is these are alternating angles. The 60-degree angle that has been given as a bearing and the red angle are alternating, or they are forming a Z, as we normally put it when we are learning, especially in grade 9. So the red angle is 60 degrees. It alternates with a 60-degree angle. And we know that alternating angles are always equal. The green angle is found by subtracting 108 degrees, 180 degrees, which will give us 72 degrees. And the reason is because the green angle and the angle labeled 108 degrees are lying on a straight line. And angles on a straight line always add up to 180 degrees. So we are subtracting from 108 degrees to get 72 degrees. So to find our angle MEA, we simply have to add the green angle and the red angle. So the green angle is 72 degrees, the red angle is 60 degrees. So when we add those two, we end up with, when we add this 60 degrees here and this 72 degrees, our answer is going to be 132 degrees, which is MEA. And so that's the answer for the first question. The next question says we have to find the distance from Arcades to Mandayo, which is labeled by the letter E. When you look at our diagram under the solutions, the first diagram under the solutions, it's labeled by the letter E. And so writing the cosine rule, we are going to have E squared is equal to M squared plus A squared minus 2MA cos E. So when writing the formula, make sure you compare with the diagram so that you see how we are putting down the letters here to come up with the formula. Where A is 20 kilometers, M is 12 kilometers, and E, the angle E, is 132 degrees. Substituting in the equation, substituting these numbers here, 20 kilometers, 12 kilometers, and 132 degrees into the equation here, this equation, we have E squared is equal to 12 squared plus 20 squared minus 2 times 12 times 20 cosine 132. So remember to include the brackets that I've included here. It's very important in mathematics, especially for the angle here, 132 degrees, it has to be in brackets. E squared is equal to, so when you find 12 squared here, you end up with 144, and when you square 20, you end up with 400. And when you multiply 2 times 12 times 20, you end up with 480, and the cosine will remain like that, cosine 132. So you have E squared is equal to 144 plus 400 minus 480 cosine 132, which will give us E squared is equal to 544. When you add 144 here plus 400, you end up with 544 minus 480 here. And make sure you find cos 132, which I have included here in the brackets. So cos 132 is negative 0.669130664. Make sure you write the whole number, or you include as many decimal places as possible for accuracy. Now at this stage here, I've seen that students and pupils and learners, they make a mistake of subtracting here 544 minus 480. Don't do this, because 480 is not just a single number. You have to multiply by this number here in the brackets, by the cosine, because this is one number here. So before you do anything, you have to make sure that you multiply this 480 by the negative 0.669130664. Okay, so when multiplying, we have to make sure that we take care of these two negatives here. When you multiply them, you're going to end up with a plus sign here. Negative by negative is plus or positive. So when you multiply 480 here by this number in the brackets, you end up with 321.1842691. So here we are going to add now 544 plus 321.18261, which will give us E squared is equal to 865.18261. So to get rid of this square, we are going to introduce the square root on both sides. So we are going to have E is equal to the square root of 865.18261, which will give us 29.413988016, which will give us 29.4 when we do it using our calculators. And this is the answer for the second question. That is the distance that we have between Arcades and Mandayo, which is 29.4 to 3 significant figures, or to 1 decimal place. Says calculate the area of the triangle. And so looking at the triangle that we have labeled A, M, and E, we are going to use the formula like this. So we are going to have area is equal to half AM sine E. So you notice one thing here. E is the angle between the two sides A and M. It's the included angle. And here we use sine, not cosine. So we substitute the numbers that we have into this formula, and we have area is equal to half times 20 times 12 sine 132, which when you punch in the calculator, you will end up with area is equal to 89.2 kilometer squared with 3 significant figures. So area is given in those units, square kilometers. So that is our answer for our third question. The last question is asking us to find the shortest distance. And the formula that we use for shortest distance is area is equal to half BH. So after finding the area in the previous question, we are now going to apply it here to find the shortest distance. Okay, so here is a triangle that we are going to use. So it's the same triangle. It's just to show us now that the shortest distance, the question says that Olympia Park is a compound that is found between Arcades here and Mandayo here. So somewhere in between we have Olympia Park O here. And so the shortest distance from East Park there on top, where 108 there is, that's where East Park is. From East Park there, the shortest distance is this line from E all the way up to O. And that's our H. And our B is the distance from A to M, where Olympia Park is. Olympia Park is found between Arcades and Mandayo. So that will be our base. And so now to calculate the shortest distance, substitute this number formula. So here is what our formula will be. Our area, once again, is 89.2 kilometers squared. Our base is 29.4 kilometers. And our shortest distance, which is H, is the one that we are finding. So we are going to substitute these two numbers into the formula. When we substitute, we have 89.2, which is the area, is equal to half of the base. The base is 29.4 by H, which is the shortest distance. We are simplifying this. Here, half of 29.4, or in other words, we can say 29.4 divided by 2. We are going to end up with 89.2 is equal to 14.7. So this 14.7, you get it after dividing this 29.4 by this 2 here. You have 14.7. And then to find the value of H, this H here, the shortest distance, you divide both sides by 14.7. And therefore, H will be equal to 89.2 over 14.7, which will be 6.10 kilometers to 3 significant figures. And so that is our answer for the shortest distance in our last question. And this marks the end of our lesson. Thank you for paying attention and for understanding everything that we've talked about. So at E-Learning Academy Zambia, we provide the following services. We actually teach your children to learn through technology. Let them learn through technology, because that is the way to go in this world that has been hit by COVID-19. So if you bring your children to E-Learning Academy Zambia under TechSmart, they are going to learn a lot. They will not remain behind in this COVID-19 hit economy and perhaps world. So we don't want our children to remain behind. For now, we are offering mathematics, biology, and we also offer other subjects if you bring them and you let your children learn with us here at E-Learning Academy Zambia. Okay, so you can look for us on Facebook. It's E-Learning Academy Zambia. Just search for that. You will find us on Facebook. That's where we conduct our lessons from. We are also found on YouTube. Our lessons are there. And when you bring your children to E-Learning Academy Zambia, we also provide materials for them to use for learning. There will be no need of buying textbooks because E-Learning Academy Zambia has them. Thank you very much for paying attention. May God bless all of you. God bless our nation, Zambia. Thank you very much.